Governor Ricketts, so to use your point, if the popular governor of Maryland does decide to run for president, will you endorse your fellow Republican governor? Will you support the president? Will you stay on the sidelines?
Well, I'm going to be supporting the president in his reelection campaign. There's no doubt about that.
That's it. What advice would you give Governor Hogan?
I would say any Republican who's thinking about running the president, that they should wait until the president gets past this reelection cycle.
Dan Strauss.
I wanted to follow up on that, Governor, actually. It's just funny because a lot of Republicans in the gubernatorial arena like to cite Hogan as an example and a model for the future of the party. This is a governor who is actively thinking about running for president, and at the same time, the incumbent president, also a Republican, has less than ideal poll numbers. It's just, so could you explain a little bit about how you square that? If Hogan is an example that we should look to as how Republicans should run their states and how they should act on the national stage, and at the same time challenge the incumbent governor who you're supporting?
Right. So first of all, Governor Hogan is doing a fantastic job in Maryland, and I think his reelection, which is I think the second time a Republican's been reelected there since the Civil War, maybe the stat is close if it's not exact. So he's done a very good job in his state and has done a wonderful job, and I want to give him all the credit in the world. But so has President Trump. I mean, you'd be hard-pressed to find an administration that has accomplished more in the first 2 years than this Trump administration in the last century. I mean, think about getting his Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed. Think about the work he has done on renegotiating some of these trade relationships. Think about the work he's done with regard to the court. Things he's done to cut regulation. I think it's 22 regulations cut for every one put in place. I mean, those are all things that are really impressive with regard to him delivering on his campaign promises. And look at the growth. I mean, at the end of the day, it gets back to results, right? You know, under the Obama administration, we were told, oh, 2% growth is normal. Well, we saw growth last year that hit 4%. And if you look at unemployment, African-American employment and Hispanic-American employment are at record lows. Not surprisingly, then poverty in those communities is also at record lows. So we're seeing a president who is delivering on that economic growth and prosperity, and that's a great record to run on. So, you know, I think Governor Hogan's doing a great job, but so is the president, and the president deserves re-election.
Is there a point where you would step in and advise Hogan to not challenge the president, or if he runs, you would step in and actively work to hinder the governor's campaign? And I ask that because you are the chair of the RGA and a member of the Ricketts family, which is laced throughout Republican politics at the national level right now.
Yeah, so, you know, with regard to this upcoming campaign, you're talking about a lot of hypotheticals. So, first of all, if Governor Hogan calls and talks to me, I will be happy to talk with him with regard to my thoughts about what his political future is. And with regard to the president, as I said, we're going to be supporting the president in his reelection. You know, the job of the RGA is about electing Republican governors. And so over the course of this year and the upcoming, you know, next 4 years, we're going to be very focused on how we get Republican governors elected. You know, people like Larry Hogan, who's gotten reelected in Maryland.